Hey everyone, Joey here, and today we're going to take a look at all of the colors of the TrimUI Smart Pro S. Very similar to the video that I did with the TrimUI Brick, where we looked at all of the brick hammer colors. But today is not about the brick hammer, despite the fact that it is here, and it actually does work as a hammer. But we're going to look at the TrimUI Smart Pro S today instead of the brick hammer. Okay, now if you're wondering why do I have all of these different colors, well, what ended up happening was I bought the TrimUI Smart Pro S red, and then TrimUI store was like, hey, do you want the colors for review? And I was just like, okay, sure, why not? So they ended up sending me all the other colors that I have here. I did end up buying again, TrimUI Smart Pro, the original one. So we'll do some comparisons of that compared to the new Smart Pro S. But just giving you a heads up, this is a very weird situation where they sent me all the colors once again. So special thank you to the TrimUI store. And this is where you can purchase the TrimUI Smart Pro S. It retails for $99 US. I believe they have like some email sign up or something that you can get like 10 or something % off or whatever. So, but it's around $100 US right now for the TrimUI Smart Pro S. So first things first, we have the TrimUI Smart Pro S and the TrimUI Smart Pro Original. Now there is quite a big number of differences between the two devices. I will say right off the bat, just looking at them like this, the D-pad and buttons are raised higher on the Smart Pro S compared to the original Smart Pro. And it's probably hard to see. I don't know if you're going to be able to notice it. I'll try and zoom in on the camera. But I have noticed a big difference where the D-pad, there's a lot more movement. It's a lot softer to push down and all of that. And it is raised up. Whereas the original D-pad is not like that. It's pushed down a little bit more. Even on the buttons end, same thing. There's just a lot more of you to have that tactile feedback for the buttons, which is great. Another big difference is the sticks. They are different sticks here. These are TMR sticks, and they have clickable L3 and R3. So you can do that as well. They are different. These ones did not have L3 and R3, so that's a big difference there. These feel better for sure. I still am not a big fan of these kind of sticks. A lot of companies have been using them lately. Ambernick used it on the RGDS. I know INEO has been using a similar type of stick. Despite the fact that they're TMR, I'm not a huge fan of them. Looking at the front, that's really all there is on the front and differences there. If we go ahead and look at the top, you're going to see there's a new home button on the TrimUI Smart Pro S that you can see there. Otherwise, we have power buttons, we have the host, we have the volume buttons, and everything else is still the same. The triggers and shoulders all look to be pretty much the same as well. I haven't really noticed a difference. They're a little bit easier to push down on the R2 on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, but roughly about the same, just better. That's kind of the theme for today, is everything but better than what we're used to. If we go ahead and look at the bottom, all of it exactly the same, except there is a new mic input here, which I believe used to be somewhere else on the device. Oh, there it is. So the mic used to be here. They moved it over here, and we have a reset button on the bottom, which I haven't had a reason to use, but it's there if you need it. Now on the back, because this device actually has a fan, which is another big difference, there is an intake right here, and I'm assuming exhaust up here, looks like right up over here, and something on the bottom, which might be having to do with the speakers. I'm not too sure, but it does have a fan. So you have a little bit of a difference on the back here. One thing I will say is the Smart Pro S feels a little bit lighter than the Smart Pro, although it could just be my hands. But either way, I think the way that you can look at this is there's a whole bunch of improvements here, and that's really good. Now, the more things change, the more things stay the same. So while there are a number of differences between both devices, one thing that did not change is compatibility for some reason. So for anybody that's had the TrimUI Smart Pro, you know that there's a number of Nintendo 64 games that just do not work. Mario Tennis is one such example where no matter what core you're using, it just doesn't show up. It doesn't boot, it doesn't go in, whatever. And that same experience is now on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, unfortunately. I forget what the other games are. I went through them the other day, and I forget what the other games were, but there's a few that just will not boot for Nintendo 64, and unfortunately, that is still the case here on the TrimUI Smart Pro S. Now, with the new processor comes some improvements, of course. However, you have to be very careful with this one. So I have, again, the original TrimUI Smart Pro and the Smart Pro S here. And you're going to notice a difference right away with how this looks and feels compared to the original. But there is some trickery going on that you have to be careful when you're comparing the two. So let's go into the PPSSP menu. So I'm going to go over here and then go over here. And if we match the default specs, I have not changed anything. This is out of the box. If we match the default specs, you're going to see that there is, on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, some differences compared to the Smart Pro. So number one, if we go down, hold on, you're going to see some frame skipping is already applied, where it's not applied on the original Smart Pro. So if we match that and we go over to off for frame skipping, turn off auto frame skip, which is on by default. That is kind of unfortunate. And then we just scroll down and let's make sure that the rest of the specs are the same. So you're going to see here, we are using a different version of PPSSPP on the Smart Pro as opposed to the Smart Pro S. So there are some settings that are a little bit different here. But if we scroll down, it looks like it's pretty much the same. Just going to double check, make sure that there is no other differences. Hardware transform, yeah, and BRZ, yeah. So mostly the frame skip was doing all of the heavy lifting there. And, oh, here we go. Lower resolution for effects was on. I want to match them up just to make sure that we are on the same playing field. Then if we go back on both of them and we go to continue and we go to continue, now we have a more even playing field here. So the frame information is right at the top. You can see we're at 30. We're pretty much sticking to 30. Nothing's really changing. If I go and look at the Smart Pro, we are glitching. We got some hitches. It's not staying at the regular 30. Now this is at a 2x resolution. So let's see if we can figure out how much power we're actually getting out of the Smart Pro S. I'm going to bump this up to 4x. Let's see how much better we get at 4x just to give some sort of number on this one. Now we have that, and you can see the TrimUI Smart Pro is really struggling here. We're at, got to see this, 14, 15 FPS, running slow, try frame skip, all of that. And if we look at the TrimUI Smart Pro S, sorry, the other one was the original, Smart Pro S, we're still at 31 to 30. There's still a lot of power here. It's still going. It is a little sluggish. I can feel it a little bit. You wouldn't play it at this, but there's a lot more power here. So that is a good way to just check right away, making sure everything is the same between the two. We have a lot more power for PSP, which means that for the most part, all of PSP is going to be playable on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, barring any problem games and things like that. So I guess really the end result here is the TrimUI Smart Pro S is a better Smart Pro. The problem is it $100 better, especially when we talk about under $100 devices like the Magmi Air X or even the iNeo Pocket Air Mini, which I will be doing a video on comparing all three. However, it all depends, right? Because the TrimUI Smart Pro, this released at about $70 or $80 when it actually came out. And then like a month or two later, it was down to about $40 that you can find it on AliExpress and all of that. As far as this goes, it is $100 now. I don't know if it is that much worth it at the moment. It's a little bit more expensive than I think you would want to pay. However, if the Smart Pro is your favorite device of all time, then yeah, this is a better Smart Pro. You're going to get all the same things, it's just better. And that's really cool. I will say for me, I think the Magmi Air X is a much better purchase and does a lot more, but we'll talk about that in a future video. Now, I wanted to leave this running just to get an idea of how the heat is being handled and the fan noise, because again, this does have a fan, and I'm feeling it heating up at the back, and I can actually hear the fan as well. So I'm gonna put this right up to the mic so you can get an idea of what I'm hearing. So it's basically like a buzzing, scratching noise, kind of, and it'll do things as you move it around, obviously, but it's kind of got an annoying little buzz to it at the moment. The heat is something that I can feel at the back, but nothing crazy at the moment. I don't know if this will change after hours and hours of play, but you probably don't want to run PSP at 4x resolution anyway. So I don't know if this will matter too much at a 2x if you're keeping it nice and cool, but you can play around with the fan settings a little bit in the software if you need to. And so just to show you what that looks like, we're going to push the home button at the top and you get this nice little in-game menu that did not exist on the original Smart Pro. But we can do some things here with brightness and volume and all of that. You should check out my setup guide. I go through a lot of this. But you can see here we have temps, which does not seem accurate to me in the CPU. However, we have the fan. So I can just turn that off and then deal with the heat. Or I can play with the fan speed. So if I throw it on full speed at the moment, just to hear what it sounds like. Now, how often is this going to happen? I couldn't tell you. If you want to play PSP at lower resolutions, you probably won't run into it a lot. Okay, and so the meat and potatoes of today's video is what is the best color of the TrimUI Smart Pro S? Same thing we did with the brick hammer. So we're going to rank all of these from 1 to 6, I guess, because there's 6 different devices. Okay, let's start off with last. And I think you're going to know what my answer is already because it's in almost every video. But last, I think, is going to be black. It's just, I find them so boring. It's not what I want my device to look like. I think this is sleek. I think it's fine, but it's not like this. Just, I feel like I'm going to go like this to like a TV and turn on my TV. Like it just looks like a remote to me. But I think it does look sleek. If that's what you're looking for, then this looks pretty good. But definitely last, I think, on today's video. So we're just going to throw it. How am I going to even do this? They're not brick hammers. We're just going to throw it like that. All right, right up there. Okay, second last, I think it's got to be retro. Retro's, I mean, it's fine. Retro's okay, but like, we have so many fun colors here. This is a nice looking color. I want to commend actually TrimUI Smart Pro or TrimUI for making multiple colors of their devices. It's something we don't see a lot of in this hobby. And I'm happy that they're doing it. There's 6 different colors here. On the brick hammer, there was what, 5? That's, I have to admit, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I like seeing a lot of colors. They're fun. This is fine, but it's second last. So we're going to throw it over here. Let's see what we have next. I think for me, white would be next. I usually like white devices, and this looks really nice, but we're getting into some heavy hitters over here on the left. So here is what white looks like. I think it's pretty sleek. It's nice. It's got nice gray accents for everything. And I think, yeah, I think this is really nice, but it's definitely going to be third last for the devices that we have here. It looks pretty good though. So let's throw it over here, right on that side. Okay, we have 3 devices left. This is going to be tough. I like all 3. You know what? Yellow, I think. Okay, I like all 3. I could live with all 3 of them. I think I could live with all 5 of them, except for the black one. So just take this with a grain of salt. But I think this looks great. This is like a Bumblebee type handheld. It's nice yellow. There's black accents, black shoulders and triggers, black on the back. It's a nice accented handheld for sure. Definitely a nice color. Definitely a better yellow than I've seen most devices use for sure. So yeah, this is going to be top 3. So this will be third for sure. Put it right up there. And now we have these 2. And I don't know if I have an answer with these 2. I don't want to pick green again because I picked green for the brick hammer. That's why I have a brick hammer that is green and kind of very different than this. But I think red is, yeah, you know what? We're going to go second with green, although it could be first. I'm tied for first here. I think green looks great. This is awesome color, like yellow and red. Like these are all really nice. Nice accents on it. I wonder why they did white for the text here, but they did black for the text on the yellow. It's a interesting conundrum. But otherwise, just black accents everywhere. Looks nice. So yeah, definitely. This is getting warm, but definitely second last, or second in the list. And I think we have number 1, which is the red TrimUI Smart Pro S. Once again, white text on the back. I wonder why they did that. But the black accents on the triggers, all of this looks really nice. I'm a big fan of these 3 colors for sure. But this looks great. So props to TrimUI for actually doing colors for devices. These are meant to be fun. You should have colors like these. These are great. So the ranking, which may not look proper because they're horizontal devices and I have to kind of split them up here. We have last, black, second last, retro or whatever this is, gray. We have white, third last, and then top three, yellow, green, and red is the winner. That's it. That's all I got for today. That was all I wanted to do, was just rank the colors and do something with these. I will have another video on the TrimUI Smart Pro S. We're going to look at it compared to the Magmi Air X and the iNeo Pocket Air Mini. So check out and wait out for that one. But otherwise, yeah, we'll talk more about it in the future. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about handhelds. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.